Hello and welcome to another Minecraft Star Trek video. This is going to be showcasing this new project that I've started, which is the JJPrise, or 2009 Enterprise, from Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. The one and beyond is a refit, so that's not what this is. This is built full scale, but not entirely built. All of the hull that you see, this is a shell that was provided to me by M. Heller, who is the Fleet Admiral on Mindtrek, so big thanks there. I've started working out some of the interior in the saucer and the secondary hull, but nothing too major. Well, the secondary hull is more major than the saucer. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what I've built so far, and just showcase some of the things, and do a quick tour, and that'll be it. I am not expecting to finish this anytime soon. This is just really a side project that my refit Enterprise on Windows 10 Edition is still my main project. I'm trying to get that finished so I can put it up for download for you guys. Speaking of which, I hit 100 subscribers a few weeks ago, which is a pretty big deal. And I've been saying that I will release all my Star Trek builds when I reach 100 subscribers, and I've done that. I haven't released them yet, but that is coming very soon, so definitely watch out on my channel for a video talking about that. So, yeah, let's get started. Again, not going to finish this soon, because it's like a massively large. It's, I think, almost 900 blocks long, and there are 40 decks, and the biggest deck on the saucer is insanely large. This is going to take a long time, but really just a side project for me to just try some things out and test out some building techniques. So, yeah, starting off with the shuttle bay. We've got the big doors here, which are really messy looking at the moment. I'm going to fix that later. Also, if you're not familiar with how importing 3D models into Minecraft, which is what the hull is right here, when you import it in, the exterior looks pretty good, but you kind of have to clean it up a little bit, and I've done some of that a little bit, but not a lot. But the interior of them is also really messy and it's got a lot of like extra blocks in there. So what you usually do is you would cover the entire hull in a different block, like change the entire exterior hull into a different block, and then replace the interior blocks with air so that it's completely hollow and only one block thick. And it's great when you have like a team of people doing that, like on Mindtrek, for instance, which you guys should check out if you haven't. The server. But yeah, that's great for a team, but when it's just one person, like me doing this in single player, it's pretty rough to do. So I am not going to be masking this thing, which is what that's called, because it'll just take too long, and it looks pretty good the way it is, and I'm just going to be breaking away blocks on the inside when I need to. So if you look and then if you think it looks really messy at the moment, that's why, but it won't look like that forever. So anyway, now we're finally going to start. Here is the shuttle bay, which you see in the movies quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit. You see from the outside a little bit, and the inside, there's not a lot of scenes that actually take place in here, but there's enough for good reference material. So, on either side we've got some big shelves that hold 28 shuttles, I think. Excuse me. And they just dock along these shelves here, and then would launch out into this central runway and fly out the doors. So that's that. Most of the reference I used was from Star Trek Into Darkness, because in 2009 the only shot we really get is from the outside looking in, and you can only see so far inside. So Into Darkness, there's there's 3 or 4 scenes that actually take place in the bay when they're unloading the torpedoes toward the beginning, and as they're about to leave to go down to Kronos on the Harry Mudd ship. And so here's where they were unloading the torpedoes on this platform that has this crane that holds them up and things. Let's see, over here, this is where they had the Mudd ship from the Mudd incident, whatever they called it, right here. That's where they had that, and down here, this is Shuttle Bay 2 and 3. It took me a while to even realize this existed, but in Star Trek Into Darkness, when they go down to Kronos on the Mudd ship, they exit through a shuttle bay that is right here underneath the pylon, so not sure why they didn't just, for the movie, I don't know why they didn't just use the main shuttle bay instead of inventing these two shuttle bays here, but they're pretty cool. It makes a kind of a cool fly-through deck right here for, I don't know, bringing cargo in or something. But yeah, that's about it for the shuttle bay. Up here we've just got some turbo lifts for going through the rest of the ship. One thing I noticed about the JJPrise is that there are a lot of catwalks and staircases. Like, if you look in the background of the shuttle bay scenes in Into Darkness, every single part of the shuttle bay has just catwalks and shuttles too, but staircases going up and through the rafters and through, it's crazy. It's completely cluttered and doesn't make a lot of sense, and it kind of looks a little weird, but it also looks kind of cool in my opinion, so I decided to implement that here to make it as accurate as possible. I'll just go inside one of the shuttles really quick. There's nothing too much in here, but it's worth it. Just a little staircase with a control panel, view screen, and some stairs. It's really simple, and that's just mostly to get this done quicker. The goal of this is not to make it the most detailed thing in the world. It's just mostly just to be a fun project and make it full scale and be pretty big and impressive, so. This is a good time to mention the audio quality might not be the best, so I apologize for that. Working on that, the microphone on the laptop, which is all I use, doesn't work super well, but should be enough, and if it doesn't, then I'll try and sort that out later. But anyway, just ahead of the shuttle bay, we have this room you see a lot in the JJ films. It's not really clear what it is, but it's got these like low-hanging, you'll recognize it if you've seen the movies. It's got these low-hanging pipes that sort of crisscross down in front of in this walkway area, and it seems like there's support beams for holding up these big tanks right here. And I think you see this room. This is going to be spoilers for the movies, but they've all been out for years now. So, in Into Darkness, when Scotty quits, right after that, Kirk is walking through here with Uhura, and they get in a turbo lift somewhere over here. This is also where Kirk is promoted to first officer in 09, so yeah, you'll recognize the room. And then just ahead of this, we have a pretty controversial or infamous room, I guess, which is main engineering, or not main engineering, but one of the engineering factory rooms. And this is commonly referred to as the brewery, because they filmed these scenes in this room in an actual beer factory brewery area, or facility or something. And it's a pretty unconventional main engineering, to say the least. It's consists of just, I mean, you can see it, and you've probably seen the movie, so it's just a bunch of giant tanks with a bunch of catwalks and staircases going through them, again, with the catwalks. And, let's see. In the movies, it's really hard to get a sense of the layout of the room. I'm not even sure if it's a rectangle or not, because anytime they're in here and they look across, it's just infinite. There's no walls or bulkheads or anything like that. It's just really hard to get a sense of the size, and I don't even think this is big enough, but this is the biggest I can make it without it sticking out the edge of the ship, so. Works well enough for me, and it looks fairly accurate in Into Darkness. Kirk and Scotty, when they're trying to get to main engineering with the warp core, they come out this door, then they climb across the catwalks, they go along here, and this is kind of where they, are about to fall, and Chekhov catches them, but yeah, that's about it for that. Right above here, we have, well, first of all, the deflector area, but nothing there yet. Right here, we have the communications room, which is where Uhura was stationed in Star Trek 09. It's also where Chekhov runs, and I forget exactly what he's doing, but he mentions that he needs to go to this room to do something. You see him, run out this door, and then he ends up, the ship is, slipping, so he ends up falling through here, and then he slides on his knees and hits a button or something. I cannot remember what he's actually doing there, but here is main engineering. It's got the big spherical warp core, which feeds up to the impulse area right there, and it also feeds down into the brewery area right there. What else to show? I think that's about it for the secondary hull. In the neck, there's nothing in the neck yet, but I put in some of the windows so we can look out here. The windows on the JJPrise, a lot of people think there aren't enough of them, and that's a fair point. But what most people don't realize is that they're actually really big windows. Like from far away, they look pretty small compared to the ship. But if you were like right next to them, they're about the size of a person. So they're bigger than most people think. Let's see. Okay, so in the saucer, I've only got a few things done on here. I've got the Turbo Plaza atrium right here. It's actually called the Turbo Plaza. It's basically, you're probably familiar with it, it's just the dome on top of the ship and the dome on the bottom are connected by this big vertical shaft of walkways and circular atrium thing. And at the bottom, there's just a big glass dome where you can look out into space and see the back of the ship and stuff. And at the top, there's just another of the same identical dome right there. So, if I'm honest, this doesn't really make a ton of sense for an observation area because you can't really see out and there's not really any chairs or anything. But yeah, on the top deck right here, we've got these will probably just be sensor rooms right here, maybe a lounge right here, and in the back we've got the main crew lounge, which is what is inside those what am I trying to say? Those vertical slot windows on the back of the kind of bridge module area. That's what that is. One deck below that, we have the bridge deck, which has a walkway back here to a turbo lift. I try to match up the shots from Into Darkness as much as possible. This is where Kirk calls Scotty. He calls him on the communicator from across space somehow. And this is where he's calling him, and you can see down a corridor behind him, there's this corridor that sort of just turns to the left immediately for some reason. But actually, I thought of a reason for that. The reason it kind of juts to the left like that is because it has to make room for this airlock right here. There's a little, this is actually a detail that's actually on the model. There's a little red square right here, and I can only assume it's probably some sort of personnel airlock. So, yeah, I can imagine there's probably the corridor would jut away so that there's another access to get inside the airlock right there. So yeah. Oops. Darn it. Fell down the turbo lift. I'm going to show the bridge next, which I had a couple of problems in making the bridge. I'll go around this way. So the shell is actually probably slightly too small. It's partially my fault because I think I made the atrium a little bit too large in diameter. So, but I mean, it looks good enough. So, but in doing that, I actually had to make the bridge smaller than I would like to. But it looks good enough. So yeah, here is the bridge. It's got a red floor like in the movies. It's got the big window like in the movies. Again, it's too small, so it looks a little cluttered, and the captain's chair is too far back. But it works, and it looks good from the outside looking in, and yeah, so that's that. Also, what you may not know is, but you probably do know, is that the bridge is attached to a corridor, so instead of like every other Enterprise, where you'd have to get in a turbo lift to go down, excluding the Enterprise D, because that actually has a corridor too. You can just walk right off the bridge, and then walk to any other part of the ship via staircase or a turbo lift or something. So if you could turn left, this is a big kind of a mistake in the movie. In 2009, or Star Trek 2009, not the year, when Kirk is kind of snuck aboard the Enterprise, or Bones snuck him aboard the Enterprise, when he has to get to the bridge, he runs from here, and then there's this really long corridor this way, and then he runs this way into the bridge. But if I built it the way it's shown in the movie, it would be sticking out the front of the ship, so I had to really shorten this corridor a lot in order to get it to fit, but it looks pretty good and it works well enough. So got a nice big window looking out here, and then this corridor will just continue to circle around and meet up with the other one. Alright, so yeah, I think that's about it. Kind of a longer video for me, but I'll try to get some more videos out pretty soon. And hopefully you enjoyed this. This will be downloadable as soon as I finish it, which will probably be years from now, if I'm honest. But, yeah. Again, with the other downloads, definitely be looking out for a video explaining what's going on with that, because they will be very soon. The Enterprise refit is almost done. I'm going to try and make that my next video, an update on that. Just got to fill in some of the corridors and rooms, other rooms, but other than that, it's mostly done. So yeah, that's about it. Again, hopefully you enjoyed this, and look out for my next video. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.